All right, welcome to Math Replay. I'm your teacher, Mr. Chavez. This is episode 2, and today we're going to replay the steps that can be used to read and understand a problem. All right, let's get to it. All right, we have a story problem here, and it's about the Blue Angels. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Now, at the end of World War II, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz ordered the formation of a flight demonstration team to keep the public interest in naval aviation. Now, the Blue Angels performed their first flight demonstration less than a year later in June 1946 in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, the question asked you, in what year did the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary? All right, now the first thing you want to do when you read and understand a problem is you go to step one. Now, step one says, well, what do you know? What do you know about the problem? Well, there's several things. For one, you want to tell the problem in your own words. Now, if you take a look over here, we have the Blue Angels started flying in 1946. That's correct, right? Yeah, so if we look back up here in the story problem, it says the Blue Angels performed their first flight demonstration less than a year later in June 1946. Okay, got that. Now, you can also identify key facts and details, which is much of the same when you identify the problem. If you take a look over here, when we identify the facts, we simply display them in a clear, understandable sentence, such as this. Their first flight was June 1946. They celebrated their 50th anniversary. Those are the key details and facts in this story problem. Now, step number 2. What are you trying to find? Well, that takes us back to the question again. In what year did the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary? So when you come down here to step 2, this bullet says tell what the question is asking, right? So you pretty much want to repeat what the question says, as you can see right here. Now the next step in step 2 is show the main idea, highlighted here in yellow. A nice little table with the year 1946, in which the Blue Angels were performing and founded. And then this 50 represents, well, the 50th anniversary. So if the question wants to ask you, in what year did the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary? You know what we can do? I think you do. We can add. That's correct. As you can see here, 1946 was the year they started. So we'll add that to 50 years later. Do you understand? Okay, great. Now, how about we do that? So let's come over here in the toolbox. And we'll pick a great color. And let's see. Let's add. Now, again, the question wants to know, in what year did the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary? So we're going to add 1946 plus 50. Now, when we finish here, that should tell us the year in which the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary. Let's see. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 5 is 9. And 9 plus nothing is 9. And 1 plus nothing is 1. There we go. 1996 is the year the Blue Angels celebrate their 50th anniversary. Do you understand? All right, great. Okay, now over here, what if we wanted to write that in a complete sentence? What would it look like? Well, let's see. Since we know they celebrated their 50th anniversary in 1956, I would probably want to write it like this. I will use part of the question when I answer it. So I will say, the Blue Angels celebrated their 50th anniversary in the year 1996. All right, great. That looks wonderful. Now, I have another question for you. Let's say, hypothetically, 58 years had gone by since the formation of the Blue Angels. What year would it be? Okay, let's see if we can try that out. Okay, so since we know that the Blue Angels were formed in 1946, we'll start with that. See, 1946. Now, if the question asks you, in what year would it be if 58 years had gone by? You would probably add, not probably, I'm pretty sure you would add 58 to 1946. Let's see what we get. 6 plus 8 is 14. 4 carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 5 plus 5 is, that's right, 10. So that's 0, carry the 1. And 1 plus 9 is 10 again, correct. It's 0, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So, to answer our own question, if 58 years had gone by since the formation of the Blue Angels, what year would it be? It would be 2004. All right. Listen, I have something wonderful I want you to take a look at. As you can see up here in the top right-hand corner of your screen, it's entitled Blue Angels. Butch Voris talks about selecting the team and naming the team. Okay, you watch this and I'll see you in a few minutes.
When you started the Blue Angels,
Yes.
how did you pick your first team members?
Well, I knew them. One had been I'd flown with him in the war, with the exception of one. But I knew his reputation and everything.
They are a super elite group of men, known for their pursuit of excellence without compromise. They risk their lives every day in service to their country.
Everybody came to the team on a trial basis with temporary orders. If it worked out, they stayed, and if it didn't work out, they departed.
They are more than the finest pilots in the world. They are the United States Navy Blue Angels.
Your life is at risk with them when you're flying that close and doing those things. So your life is in their hands, and you've got to have absolute trust in them, and they have to have it in you. They were handpicked. The same way with the crew, our support crew. And still have 3 of the original support crew alive, which I correspond and keep in touch. There's one other pilot, Al Tadeo, living in Southern California, and that's what's remaining of the first. I don't know how much you know about the Blue Angels and everything. You know, it was named after a nightclub in New York, the Blue Angels. And, you know, the Navy being very proper, I was encouraged, is the word I'll use, almost directed to call it something else. The Navy Blue Lancers by my big boss. And you know, that's about as exciting as kissing your sister. But he said, go back and try it out on your boys and see what they think about it. And, you know, when a senior officer says that, that's almost an order. So we went off to a show in Omaha and then to New York, and I told the press about my dilemma on naming the team, and they said, well, maybe we can help. And the press reports of our performance, which was good. quoted, the Navy's Blue Angels. And of course, I got called to the staff as soon as I got home. What's the meaning of this? I said, I don't know really. I guess we're blue, and somebody said they look like angels. Anyway, you throw it at the wall. If it sticks, you keep it. So it's been the Blue Angels, for the 58 and a half years, and there's no end in sight, and I'm very proud of it.
All right, great job, Butch Voris. Okay, that's our time for today. I'm your teacher, Mr. Chavez. I hope to see you next time on Math Replay.